Well, good evening, folks. Welcome back to the farm. Oof, it's kind of overcast and muggy. I guess, you know, I can't complain. I can't complain. It's way easier to complain about it being too warm than it is to complain about it being too wet when you've had a couple years of drought. But we had probably 2 inches of rain here in the last 24 hours. It was a lot. Like just last night between 8 o'clock and 10 o'clock at night, I had a bucket in the back of my truck. And this is how I know how much we got. I didn't even check the rain gauge for this one, but I took grain down to the sheep, and in that 2-hour period, we got a whole inch of rain. And then it rained all night, and then it rained all day. And it just quit here just a short while ago. I just got the kids to bed, and I was putting off doing chores because, well, I am made of sugar some days, as much as I, you know, I'm not a big fan of the rain, really. It has its uses, I suppose. Anyways, got a couple things to get done here tonight. Marshall, the LGD, he's locked up in the little pen there beside the dumpster. I come home and he had a chicken turned inside out, so he got a spanking for that. But yeah, the wife told me this morning, actually she called and said, yeah, he had another one pinned down. It was a different color. So, I mean, well, our last LGD was right around this age that he went on a rampage too. But so it's kind of behavior we're going to have to monitor and actively work to curb until we can kind of get him past that stage. And then once they're past it, they're just kind of past it typically anyways. So, but he's in that pissy little teenager kind of phase right now. But anyway, speaking of killing chickens, that is the theme for today. So we've got a prep for the Sunday. We're going to be butchering all the meat chickens. We don't have the meat chickens here. This is the first year we haven't kept the meat chickens here. Everything went to my in-laws this year. Now, typically what it's been is my in-laws have all the equipment, I have all the birds, we throw all the birds in the stock trailer and haul it there, and then we do the plucking and the processing and everything happens there. Well, we've turned tails and done everything on its head. So we got, our stock trailer got T-boned earlier this year, and so we don't have a means to haul the chickens. I couldn't, yeah, because you can't do it. It's just not feasible. Don't have the equipment. So the in-laws kept all the chickens, and they've got, you know, same thing, chicken house or whatever. They got a big, like an enclosed area with big tall fence around it. The chickens are free run, which is different than the tractors that we do, but still, you know, they were out on grass. They get sunshine. It's still pretty fantastic anyways. But we have, you know, we bought a big expensive poultry plucker. And so we're excited to take that out. So today what I got to do is I got to get my my food grade barrels, the plucker, the burner, the scalding pot, sharpen the knives, get all that stuff ready. So on Sunday, it's just snip, snip, snap and done. I don't know if you can hear that. That's a fox. So down in our sheep pasture, down in the section beside the dugout that we call the little pie-shaped piece, the other day I come down there and just surprised a fox come bolting out of the tall grass and off into the woods. And I've been having challenges over there keeping the sheep in that area. I don't think it's got anything to do with the fox. I think it's just got to do with the fact that sheep are kind of ignorant. And so there's this lush green grass all through there, and they seem to prefer what the neighbor has. But anyway, so the fox, I'm hesitant to do anything like in terms of, you know, 22 caliber intervention or anything like that, because, well, especially any canine is a territorial animal. So if it's a fox, coyote, a wolf, even a dog, right, it's a territorial animal. And so if you remove one, the one right next to it generally expands its territory. And so what we need to do is basically take that fella down there and walk our perimeter and it's basically establish dominance that way. Because if I were to manage that fox, you know, in an aggressive way, then he could be replaced with something that maybe is a little more aggressive or less respectful of our animals. Just come down here to check on the pigs. Boy, what a mess this place is. Like I said, so much rain. We don't have to worry about them having a wallow pit right now. But just checked on the bulk feeder. They got enough to eat for the night, so I'll leave that be. and then I'll pop them up tomorrow night, Saturday morning. Put a couple extra pails in the deep freeze, and then that'll keep going for the week there. Now, the turkeys in the big turkey tractor, they're not going to get processed the same day the chickens are. They came in on the same shipment that the chickens did, but they actually came here because that was one thing that my mother-in-law, I don't think she was really prepared to get attached to the turkeys as much as she did the last time. I think she was pretty traumatized when we butchered the chickens last year, or the turkeys last year, sorry. Well, it was the same day as the chickens, actually. We finished processing 100 chickens, and then while she wasn't looking, we just went in and did the turkeys, and she didn't know any of the better until there it was, sitting on the table. But it's actually quite incredible how much they've grown. They're probably, well, if I were to hazard a guess, I'd probably say right around 18 pounds right now. So we're probably going to try to bring them up to about 30, 25 to 30 would be a good number, like big enough that it's kind of worth all the effort. And I'm shocked, maybe it's too soon to say something, but they've all survived. We kept them at a really high temperature in the brooder. When they got too big for the brooder, we put them into the barn. They stayed indoors the whole time there. We fed them a high protein feed that we get from my buddy Robin over at Bloom Enterprises. We've had constant access to fresh water. We have a big bulk water trailer over there, and it's on a float valve, and there's just constant access, and I dump that out every day, so it's always fresh. And even though in the mornings it's been cool and it's been damp, they've done really, really well. Anyways, I got one food grade barrel. We use these for cooling the carcasses off after they've been sliced and diced. Well, sliced, not diced, I should say. Put some ice water in there, let everything cool down slowly, a little bit more controlled. Ends up that way your meat isn't so tough. If you cool everything too quickly, get it into the fridge too quickly, or God forbid you put it in the freezer too quickly, you might as well eat it with a chainsaw. So cool them down slowly, let them cool over 24 hours. Then bring them out, put them on a drying rack, bag them, however you choose to bag them, whether it's a shrink wrap or a Ziploc bag or something like that, and then get them into the freezer. Here's my other one. I used to have two white ones. I don't know where the other one went to. It must have probably blew across the yard or something. I don't know, but anyways, one's blue, one's white this year. It doesn't really mean anything. We just need two. That's just the way it works. We need two barrels. So for the knives, we've got, well, I got a whole kit actually, just like a little handheld toolbox over here that I gotta clean everything up in here, but that's where everything's at. So knife sharpener, I'm gonna use that here tonight. A couple filleting knives, right? Do the dirty work. A set of paramedic shears. You never know, cut wings and feet and all that kind of jazz off. And then I've got a Bowie knife. That was my original dispatching knife. That's a really, really valuable tool. But I upgraded last year to this right here. This is a Milwaukee. I'm just going to try and pop that off. A Milwaukee duct knife. So I was actually looking for a dive knife, but I saw in a video on YouTube. This was advertised, and I wouldn't go back. After using this, I would not go back. It's got a straight edge on one side and a serrated edge on the other side. And it's made out of a special type of steel. I don't know, I can't remember what that type of steel is, like what the number is on it, but whatever Wolverine's claws are, I think it's made out of that stuff. Like it stays sharp 5 times longer. I took care of 100 chickens last year, and I could shave with that blade afterwards. Not that I would, because it was covered in blood, but you could if you wanted to. And then the other thing I throw in there, long drawer, is needle nose pliers, and then regular pliers, just in case the guy's got some hand feathers and whatnot to pull out. Now, feathers are they're not a lot of fun for anybody. And so what we've been using for years and years and years is this horizontal drum chicken plucker right here. And I mean, it's better than plucking by hand. Don't get me wrong, it is better than plucking by hand. But it doesn't do all the work for you, right? And so quite often you get left with, you know, lots of tail feathers, all that kind of stuff, or tails up under the wing or around the, yeah, just weird spots where they're hard to get to and hard to manage. And so it's labor intensive afterwards. You're still doing work after the work is done. So not very efficient. So this year we bought one of the rotary drum styles. We got it, you know, used for $500, and it was only used a couple times. So pretty good deal. And we borrowed one last year, and it was exceptional actually how well it works. So we're hoping that, you know, these pliers can just stay in the toolbox essentially. Now the other thing I got to keep in mind, if I want the pliers to stay in the toolbox, is the temperature of the scalding pot. So I'm going to go find that burner here now, but I want to keep that water. I should find the thermometer too. I want to keep that water at 70 degrees Celsius because, I mean, it's got to scald it. So if it's too cold, of course, the feathers don't want to come out. Evening, fellas. And if it's too hot, you're just making really, really terrible chicken soup. So you end up burning the skin, and then as you go into the plucker, it tears the skin, and it's, you know, and yep, it's just the quality of the cut, the quality of the meat, I should say, is less than what it should be after you've put in all that effort. So 70 degrees. You can buy some stuff in a jar. It's called Feather Off too. That works really good, but I don't remember the name of that chemical off the top of my head, like sodium benzoyl CoA, I think is what it is, but I might have just made that up, but I think that's what it is. And if you don't know what that is, or you don't like the sound of it on your food, well, I mean, you could always use, you know, a quarter cup of dish soap in your scalding pot, and, you know, the non-scented stuff or whatever, and that works pretty good too. All you're really doing is just changing the surface tension in the water, really. So right, so when the pores of the skin expand because of the temperature, that stuff just helps everything just come out naturally, just a natural lubricant essentially. All right, so I got my burner. Now the thing with this thing, mission critical, right? If this doesn't work, you're in a jam. So before butchering day, you definitely want to test this. I'm going to test it right now, because if that doesn't work, you're dead in the water. And I got a couple days of lead time, so that if that's not working, if I need a part or I need to replace the whole thing, I can do it. So I'm just gonna get tied on my propane tank here and get tied in quickly and make sure it works. I know there's some folks that probably can't relate to this and say, well, like, how do you not know if this works? Well, we don't deep fry. I haven't deep fried a turkey in at least a decade. Like, I think we all got these right around the same time. Everybody got a turkey fryer, and then used it once or twice and was like, oh well, that was a novelty. And I mean, we have turkeys. We're gonna butcher a whole pile of turkeys, but I mean, I got to be the first to tell you that, you know, turkey's not that great, right? So it's not like every weekend or whatever, you know, twice a month we're deep frying a turkey for the whole family. That's not happening. Once a year this gets used, and that is just for the scalding pot. That is it. But yeah, so anyways, I gotta find a barbecue lighter. Thought I had one in the shop. I don't. I'll find one of those and we'll get that thing lit. All right, let's do some Doc Holliday stuff here. All right, let's see if we can get this thing to light. Hey, there we go. It's pretty toasty to me. Let me get that shut off before I burn my hand hold it across the yard here. All right, last but not least, and I'm hoping they're in the tack room here, is the kill cones, processing cones, the butchering cones, whatever you want to call them. Are they in here? I don't know. Where would I put them? Not here, evidently. Anyways, they're another pretty important piece of the puzzle. Because, yeah, anybody that's using a hatchet and a log that's pretty primitive, right? And so it's not really, you know, really very kind. Although it is quick, it's still traumatic for the animal to be handled that way. And afterwards, they can kind of run off and beat the ever-living daylights out of themselves. At least with the processing cone, they're snug, they're getting a hug on their last day. One final hug before they go. And of course, they still try to flap, they still try to kick, they still try to do all that stuff, but they're contained. And so there's less mess, there's less damage to your meat, less broken bones, and it's just a whole cleaner process. Speaking of clean, I probably need to take a lesson of that and just clean up my stuff when I last use it, because I have no idea, if they're not in that shed, I have no idea where they're at. Fantastic. I tell you, it sucks when you think you know where something is, but you obviously don't, and you walk clear all the way across the yard to something else. I mean, you're getting the exercise, I guess. I'm definitely in need of some exercise, but yeah, I wish it just was where I think it was, you know, but for all I know, it could still be out at the in-laws from butchering last year. I just don't remember. It's the way I operate, you know, kind of an amateur operation around here. Yeah, they weren't there. I have no idea. I have literally no idea where they are. This is, I mean, it's a problem, but it's not an issue. My in-laws have some. We have some plastic ones. We'll get her done. But I think it's time. It's time for a cup of tea. That will help me refocus my energy, my mind, and maybe jog my memory as to where those things actually are. They're probably just sitting at the in-laws' place, sitting in the father-in-law's shop somewhere, but sure would be nice if I could remember. But a cup of tea will help with that. So I'm going to let you go for now. I hope you have a fantastic evening, and we'll see you tomorrow.